Hi guys, welcome to Know Math. My name is Sir Bench Antonio. On this video, we will discuss factoring perfect square trinomials. This lesson is intended for high school mathematics, especially for grade 8 students. If you are not yet subscribed on my channel, please hit like and subscribe for more of my videos. Factoring perfect square trinomials is one of the easiest lessons in factoring, given that the given trinomial is a perfect square trinomial. Let's say that a squared plus 2ab plus b squared is a perfect square trinomial, and that it is equal to the square of a and b. For us to know that if a given trinomial is a perfect square trinomial, we have to follow some guides. Guide 1. The first and the last terms should be a perfect square. So in this example, a squared is a perfect square. That if we have to get the square root of a squared, that will give us a. And so, b squared, if we're going to get the square root of b squared, that will give us b. So therefore, the first and the last terms are perfect square. Guide 2. Double the product of the square root of the first and the last terms to obtain the middle term. If we get the product of a and b, and then double it out, multiply by 2, that will give us 2ab. And that will give you your middle term. Therefore, a squared plus 2ab plus b squared is a perfect square trinomial. And that will give you a square of binomial. Other example of a perfect square trinomial is a squared minus 2ab plus b squared is equal to a minus b squared. Notice that they are almost the same, but they have different in signs. Take note that if the middle term is a positive, therefore, the sign of your square binomial is also positive. If the middle term is a negative, the sign of the square of your binomial, the square of binomial, is also a negative. That's the difference between the two. So we will use this as our formula. Let us have an example. Find the factors of the given expression m squared plus 12m plus 36. So take note that you need to check if the given trinomial is a perfect square trinomial. Let's check guide 1. The first and the last terms are perfect squares. So let's get the square root of m squared. That will give us m. Get the square root of the last term 36. That will give us 6. Therefore, the first term and the last term are perfect squares. Guide number 2. Double the product of the square roots of the first and the last terms to obtain the middle term. If you get the product of m, which is the first, or the square root of the first term, and the square root of the last term 6, and then double it out, m times 6 times 2, 12m, we will obtain the middle term. So m squared plus 12m plus 36 is a perfect square trinomial. And then, we can now use our formula. A squared plus 2ab plus b squared is equal to a plus b squared. We will now set that this will be our a value. This will be our b value. So therefore, the answer is the answer is m plus 6 squared. Let us try example 2. Find the factors of 9r squared minus 60r plus 100. Let's check if the given trinomial is a perfect square trinomial. Guide number 1. The first and the last terms are perfect square. Let's get the square root of the first term, 9r squared. that its square root is 3r. And the square root of the last term, 100. And its square root is 10. Let's check for the guide 2. Double the product of the square roots. 3r times 10, and then double it out. 3 times 10 times 2 is 60, and then followed by r, 60r. Now we can use this formula, a squared minus 2ab plus b squared, since our middle term is a negative. So this will set as our a value, and this will be our b value. So therefore, the square of binomial is 3r minus 10 squared. Example 3, 16x squared minus 40xy plus 25y squared. Let's check if the given trinomial is a perfect square trinomial. Guide 1, the first and the last terms are perfect squares. 16x squared, that will give us 4x. And the square root of 25y squared, that is 5y. And for your guide 2, double the product of the square roots of the first and the last term. 4x times 5y, and then double it. We have 4 times 5 times 2, that is 40, and x times y, xy. And we obtain our middle term. So we can now use again the formula. Since the middle term is negative, so we will use a negative sign. So your a value is your first square root, or the square root of the first term, and the b value is the square root of the last term. And that is 4x minus 5y squared. Let us check example 4. 4s squared plus 36st plus 81t squared. Guide 1. Check if the first and the last terms are perfect square. The square root of 4s squared, that is 2s. The square root of 81t squared, that is 9t. And for guide 2, double the product of the square root of the first and the last terms. 2s multiplied by 9t, and then doubled. 2 times 9, 18 times 2, that is 36. And s times t, st. And now we obtain our middle term. So we will use positive formula as the middle term is positive. So the answer is, or should be, a positive. So we will use this a value as the square root of the first term, and the b value is the square root of the last term. Therefore, we have 2s plus 9t squared. And that is all for factoring perfect square trinomial. And I have this math challenge for you guys. Find the factors of 49a squared b squared minus 28abc plus 4c squared. If you know the answer, guys, just comment down below. And if you are not yet subscribed on my channel, do not forget to like and subscribe for more of my videos. Thank you for watching.